Welcome back to this week's edition of the Casuals on the Challenge Sports Podcast Network. I'm your host, Kunal Kohli, the Chief, joined by the worst salesman in Best Buy history, Isis Makloof.
That's not true. Don't lie.
I was witness to it, and I can confirm that is true.
That right there, folks, is the Hebrew Hammer, Alan Ross. Isis,
not true. I was the number one salesman. I was the number one salesman.
Can you defend yourself? Do you have proof?
Yeah, I can pull up numbers for 7 months straight. I sold $1,000 worth of rev every hour that I was working there. The general manager said that to the assistant manager. He said, if he keeps doing this, you're going to have to suck his cock. That was a word for word quote. And I also generated $500 million, or not, $500,000 in my first 6 months. And the local manager, whatever you call it, the I don't know what you call it. Manager. Came and spoke. No, not a store manager. He was the local manager of all the stores in the Syracuse area. Or Central New York area.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
The district manager came and talked to me and he said, "Wow, please tell me, what are you doing?" And I said, "It's just me, bro. It's just me. I'm the reason why these lights are still on, and I'm the reason why everyone gets bonuses at the end of the month." And he said, "Facts, brother." And I said, "Thanks." And then I left. You know what happened after I left that store? Kuno?
You didn't leave. You got fired, bro.
Okay. You want to know what happened after I got fired from Best Buy?
What happened to Elias?
2 of them closed.
That store shut down.
Elias was keeping the lights on there.
I was keeping the lights on. That's where Isis was born.
This first one's coming from I Am Wawo on Twitter. As a shooter, Klay would be significantly worse than Dame on the same volume in defensive coverage. That's a spicy take right there. That's a spicy take.
That's a real spicy take. I don't know if he just thinks that Klay Thompson is he would just be trash with more volume. I've said this before, maybe not in this podcast, but I've said it before in other argument situations. Klay Thompson would be he's an all-star, but he would be a star player on any team that he played for. If he had his own team, if he was the main ball handler, the main scorer, whatever, if he had his own team, that man would still ball out night in, night out. The guy can create his own shot. He doesn't just have to rely on shooting, which I feel like Dame does. And even if Klay was just shooting, Klay would still have probably the same percentage, career 40% shooter from three, Dame 38. If you put the same defensive coverage on him, he's probably shooting about the same. And they're not too far apart from each other. I think Klay is easily the better player of the two, and I think Klay having the number one defensive player on him or whatever defensive coverage on him, he's gonna be the same, if not slightly worse.
So you let me just backtrack that for a quick second. You did state that Klay is a much better player than Dame, and I don't agree with that. As a shooter, I do think he's a better shooter. And you're right. Like with the same volume, just alone, I think he would still continue to put up these wild numbers. But as a number one option, I think it would be very tough for him, depending on how the team around him looks. If he has no separation, these people are just going to clog his lanes, make life super difficult for him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he shot around like 37, 38% with given a situation like that, which is still awesome for a guy that's the number one option on a team with volume like that. But but in general, like I think we should start really hyping up Dame Lillard's prowess as a shooter, because this guy is ridiculous. This guy is pulling up from the logo and just burying them consistently. We can say that Steph Curry started the trend, but we don't even see him taking shots like that all that much anymore. Dame does that consistently, night in, night out. But to say Klay would be significantly worse is that is cap. He'd be about the same.
We all know that Klay can shoot with very minimal, spacing, or he scored, I don't know what the stat is, X amount of points versus X amount of steps. I don't know do you remember that? Kunal, do you remember that?
Oh yeah, he had 2 steps and he dropped 50 or something.
Something crazy like that.
I would say it was 54 and I want to say 8 steps at the most,
something crazy, which means that he can shoot with very minimal spacing. But also what Klay is great at is creating his own space, but then also coming off of screens, running around. Like if you watch what Klay and Steph do, running back and forth, he runs a marathon. You don't need a Steph Curry type player in order for you to be successful doing that. You can do that with literally almost anybody, any point guard, because he plays shooting guard. Any point guard, you can create your space by running back and forth like a madman. I don't think that I think in that situation Klay would shoot slightly worse, because of, if you're going to shoot more, you're going to shoot probably worse, right? It's a law of averages. I mean, I like Klay more than Dame, but I do respect Dame. Dame's a great player. I just think to put those two, have them, to compare the two is just kind of dumb, because they're both great in different ways. And they're just both great players in general.
And the types of shots that they're going to be getting are going to be so different. Like Klay, he knows what he's good at, so he would continue to do the things that he's great at. While Dame is more of an ISO type 3-point shooter. He wants the smoke. He wants to drain a huge ass shot in your face. Klay isn't going to do that. He's going to work his way through screens. He's going to do whatever it takes to get an open shot. The only problem with that as a number one option, though, is I don't know if he's going to get, especially without Steph Curry's gravity, I don't know if he would end up getting as many opportunities to do that. So I think, again, it's impossible to even know without seeing it. And I hope at some point in Klay's career that we get to see him as the number one option on his own team.
I don't think it would ever happen. Not to the extent, after coming off of two pretty bad injuries. And his age, he's not young. He's getting older. I don't think he's ever going to have his own team. But, this is just the disrespect that happens to players when they've been injured like this. This casual fan probably hasn't seen him in 2 years. He doesn't remember what Klay Thompson is. I just think it's wrong to disrespect him like this. And also, why do we just have to put these two players against each other? Why can't we just say, both are great at what they do? Let's just watch greatness.
Let's just all be friends here.
The problem with the NBA Twitter is that people tend to, when they want to hype someone up, they'll tear someone else down in the process. And it's just not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair to Klay just because he hasn't been able to play. If let's say the roles were reversed and Dame was hurt for the past 2 years and Klay was playing, this guy would be tweeting something totally different. It's just he's a casual fan. He doesn't know what's going on, and it's clear from this tweet.
See, it's interesting because I think if you get rid of that qualifier of they have to be the number one option, you put Dame in Klay's shoes in that Golden State offense coming off of pin downs, he would be significantly, I don't want to say too good or way better than Klay, but he would be putting up some significantly improved numbers. like Dame's good already, but just think about how good he would be coming off of pin downs and
Would he
getting
get the
open
same
space.
volume though?
I think all
That's the
things
thing.
considered, a shooter of Dame's caliber would get the same volume as Clay.
You're saying that he would have like significantly better numbers than he does now in that situation because it would be much easier.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would have anywhere close to that volume.
If he was coming off of constant screens and constant pin downs, you don't think he would have that type of
As he currently has as the leader on his own team. I don't think he would have the same volume as the secondary or third player on another team. Like the thing with Clay, like Elias initially mentioned, like he wishes he took more shots, but unfortunately his role doesn't allow him to do that.
And you're also going to be, I mean, if we're going to look at the past 2 years where he's been injured, and then the last 3, so 5 seasons in total, his role was reduced. Or not, it wasn't even reduced, because he still shot about the same he did before KD, but he wasn't in the limelight like he was without KD. You know, the man still got his with KD on the floor. His role never really changed when they brought in KD.
It was just a clean 20 points every single year.
right.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think you can compare the two. They're two totally different teams. And I mean, if you put Dame in the same position as Clay, I don't think he can play the two all that great. I think Dame is he's a very good point guard. And if you put him at the two, I don't think he would be as successful.
And it's not, and then like you think of an isolation heavy type player like that on a team that doesn't even have that. Not sure if it makes all that much sense.
I don't know, man. Anytime you can factor in constant screening into your offense, I think it's just beneficial for a shooter. And
Yeah, for sure.
like Dame is also very, very much a dual threat option. He's great when it comes to driving into the paint. And he can obviously shoot, as we just saw this past All-Star weekend. So I think, all things considered, an offense like Golden State's would only benefit Dame. If he was, let's just say Portland instituted Steve Kerr's offense, I think we'd see a more efficient Damian Lillard than we've ever seen in his career.
But then you add a guy like Steph Curry that's taken 30 shots a game.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work in his favor. I mean, you could make an argument that he's more impressive than Steph Curry, so he could potentially be the number one on that team if he was in Golden State's system. But if we're just completely flip-flopping the roles, we can't even take that into the matter.
According to Mitch Block Party on Twitter, KD is so overrated when it comes to all-time rankings. It shouldn't be a hot take to not have him top 20. His total accumulated career value is just not as high as most fans think. Alan, you're a Nets fan. I'm going to put you on the spot. Is KD in your top 20, and is he in your top 10?
So it's kind of hard because he has, 6 years left of KD being KD. And then you think of what he could potentially get in those 6 years. You think about what he's accomplished up to this point. You know, it's hard to even really compare him to those other legends in the top 20, let alone top 10. But I mean, when you really think about it, you know, you can make a solid case that he's the greatest all-around scorer ever to ever lace him up. He's a pretty damn good defender. He has 2 rings to his name. And along with that, you know, he's given us so many moments. He's given us so many signature moments in the clutch that you can just easily draw your attention to remember him. So, I mean, from a fan's perspective, I think you have to easily put him in the top 20. But I get it if you're going by the analytics and if you're going by all the accolades and stuff like that. I guess I could see his point, but from the fans' perspective, I think he's completely in the wrong.
Jesus, we need to hear you speak, my friend.
KD's career is not over. I think if you're saying KD's career ended today, I think he might have an argument. But if he wins one championship with the Nets or another team, let's say he doesn't win one with the Nets, then I think you put him in the top 20 just because, like Alan said, he's a great scorer. Is he going to be on the all-time scorer list? We don't know. He kind of has an incomplete career at this point. I think it's just dumb to say that he's not a top 20 player. I don't want to do lists, but who are you really going to like? What other 19 players are you going to put above him is the question. I just think this guy is a Knicks fan who is upset that KD never came to the Knicks. That's my thought.
And like you go back in history,
whatever your name is,
Mitch Block Party must be
Mitch
your
Block
boy.
Party. Like I was upset too when he didn't come to the Knicks. I think it was James Dolan's fault. James Dolan probably played his shitty jazz band while KD was at the recruiting party, and he ruined it for us. But to say that he's not a top 20 player of all time is kind of dumb, especially with not knowing where his career is going to end up.
Like I get it. I might sound like I'm a prisoner of the buckets, but you think about it. You look throughout history. You look at every single player that's ever laced him up, and someone tells you, "Oh, so you absolutely need a bucket right now. Fate of the universe is on the line." Iguodala is not in.
No,
he is not in the pool of players.
Damn it, Alan. That was my first pick.
Who are you taking? He's got to be one of the only 3 guys that you're taking, right?
If we're going everyone who's ever laced him up, I don't know if he's in my top 3 to take that shot. In all honesty.
Yeah, I think that's pretty wild.
Like, he might be in my top 5, sure. Even then, it's a little dicey. Top 10, definitely, but top 3?
So you got MJ. Who else do you have?
All right. I have to go with somebody who has a proven track record when it comes to clutch shots. Ray Allen, number 2. Purest shooter in league history. Not best, but purest shooter. I think he would be fantastic in a clutch situation. And then number 3, come on.
Greg Oden.
I was going to go with Sam Bowie, but no, it's Kobe.
See, I just disagree because this guy he's a 7-footer, can knock down a shot at any release point on the entire court. Can be awkward, doesn't even matter, but he's going to get a good look no matter what. That's the one thing that you know about him. He's going to get a great look every single time he touches the ball.
Definitely. Most definitely.
So when you think about that, him being so tall with being so skilled, it's just the most lethal combination. And I can't name 2 players that I would rather have take that shot over him.
Okay, guys. Nick Wright saying Blake Griffin signing with the Nets just adds to the legacy of super teams assembling in response to LeBron James winning a title. Now, what's interesting is he quote tweeted that, and in my opinion, proves his point. 2007, LeBron makes his first finals. What happens the season after that? The Celtics' Big 3 assembles. LeBron wins his first title in 2012. What happens after that? Kobe, Dwight Howard, and Steve Nash all join together. 2016, LeBron beats the 73-win Golden State Warriors. What happens? Kevin Durant joins the Warriors. And then 2020, LeBron wins a title with the Lakers. And we just saw Harden and Blake Griffin both join Kyrie and KD. Do you guys think LeBron James is truly the catalyst for all these moves? And should we credit him for this? I don't want to say super team era, but this boom in super teams.
Yeah, without a doubt, right, Elias?
Yeah, I mean, the NBA has always been a catalyst, or the best player has always been a catalyst for the changes that happen in the NBA. Kobe was it, Michael Jordan was it, Wilt Chamberlain was it, you know, whoever is the best player in the league, he's always a catalyst for changes because you're always fighting to beat the best player. That's how the NBA has been. That's how all sports are.
So the way I see it is like the Celtics needed that big three, arguably to compete with LeBron, the rise of LeBron, because he was clearly arguably the best player in the league at that time. So they felt that they needed a big three to compete with that. But in turn, LeBron ended up doing the same thing, which completely altered the league. Because all of a sudden it's like, oh, we need a big two, big three to even compete with this guy alone with bums on his team. And now he's got two other stars. The way I see it, he's like Steve Jobs. He didn't necessarily create the smartphone, but he released the best smartphone. And then you have Android releasing a better phone every year. And then it's a competition every year to see who can advance the most. So, yeah, I mean, LeBron is the catalyst, but he was also the one that made it. He made it mandatory to even have a super team in today's league to begin with.
Yeah, but LeBron is the one who gets punished in the quote unquote legacy debate. When it comes to,
it's not fair.
You know, who's it's not fair because he's just playing by the rules that were set by other teams. You know, these other teams are making super teams to try to beat him, and he's just trying to make things even. It's been shown in the NBA throughout its existence that not one player can win you a championship. It very rarely happens. You know, the last time it happened was with Dirk. He beat the last big super team. Other than that, name another time when it happens. It rarely happens. So LeBron's just playing by the rules that were set up for him or against him, and people get upset about it. It's like, why does every other team get to make a super team to try to beat LeBron? But the minute LeBron makes a super team to try to counteract that, he's the one who's looked at as a bitch or someone who can't do it by himself, when every other super player or superstar hasn't been able to do it on his own.
Yeah, it's just the NBA is just very contradicting in general. I mean, they gave him unreal expectations when he first came into the league. He had to live up to Michael Jordan's legacy as like what, a 17-year-old or whatever. I mean,
19,
that alone,
but yeah,
that
like
that
that
alone is
burden.
unfair. Yeah.
No, he was 18.
Whatever, but do you guys? So one of the lesser known things we kind of talk about with LeBron is kind of how he helped usher in a new era for player control. I mean, that big three in Miami was literally player built. Do you think that might be the most significant part of his legacy going forward, is how he helped usher in more player control into the league?
On a broad spectrum, you could say yes. But when you think of his game, like people act like Steph Curry is like so influential. I think he is, but like Elias was saying something earlier. He was saying how he ushered the era of positionless basketball. And we see that today, even after all of the shooting. And you could credit LeBron to that, if we're going to be honest.
I don't think I mean, LeBron, he created the modern NBA, just like Michael Jordan created what was the modern NBA before him. The league is always going to be driven by who's the number one player. And LeBron has been the player who's been doing it the longest. He's been dominant ever since he came out of high school. And he's still dominant. He's still the number one player in the league at 36. He's probably still going to be the number one player for the next 2 years. And teams are always going to find a way to try to beat him. And LeBron's greatness is he's always going to find a way to either make the finals or win the finals. And I think that's just going to show how great he was in the future. We're going to look back at LeBron and say, wow, why do we give this guy such a why do we look down on him for so long when, you know, he was so great? Like we're witnessing greatness and don't even know it. Like Michael Jordan, when he was playing, everyone was sucking his cock, saying how great he is.
Oh, and
he never
to
had...
add on to what you just said about Michael Jordan, in his heyday, he basically invented the superstar foul. You couldn't even lay a hand on him after a certain point in his career. It seemed like every single time you laid you didn't even have to touch his finger. If it looked like you were going anywhere near his finger, he was gonna get 2 free throws. So it looked like they changed the rules to help him. While with LeBron, it seems like the way the NBA has changed has almost been against him his entire career.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron is just like, we don't give him enough credit. Everyone loves to like shit on him for saying, you know, he's been to X amount of finals and he's lost X amount of finals. He doesn't have a winning record. But when's the last time we saw a guy make it to how many straight finals he's made, whatever finals he's made? We've never seen it. The guy is great, and at the end of the day, he's probably going to be looked at as the best basketball player to ever lace him up.
But going back to what Nick Wright said, I don't know why he acts like it's like surprising. It's like, of course, teams are going to retaliate against a guy that's made 9 straight finals appearances. You think they're just going to sit there and let him do it?
No, yeah. I mean, these guys are playing to win finals, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, some guys are probably playing for money, but I mean, I think people probably get bored of seeing LeBron James go to the finals or seeing the Warriors make the finals. Other guys want to win. That's the whole point of playing the game. You don't just play 82 games and then some just to lose. Like, guys want to win.
Like, after dominating the NBA for so long, it's fair to assume that he's now like the villain of the NBA. And there's going to be players that want to plot against that.
Well, I mean, this isn't the first time he'd be the league's villain. Like, he's been the villain since 2013.
See, no, I think LeBron goes through phases. I think LeBron, when he's winning, he's the villain. Then another team like the Warriors will beat him, and then he becomes the hero who finally beats the Warriors, or he wins another one and he's like the hero, and then people just start hating him. It's the way that teams in the NBA or players in the NBA have gone forever.
Yeah, people were loving it when he was getting clapped by the Warriors every year. They were like, "Oh, MJ would never let this happen."
But that
and then 2 years later.
Oh yeah, that was ridiculous.
That was
number
LeBron
one ring ever.
I was gonna say people were saying he was better than Jordan because of that ring.
People love to like flip flop back and forth. It's just a way to keep podcasts like this running because there's some kind of debate that needs to be said. When all reality, LeBron's been the hero of this league since he's stepped into it.
So 96.9 The Game put out an article that went over a study that says sports fans have better mental health. This study has to be wrong. Like, there's no way this study's right. Right? You're a Knicks fan. And you're a Jets fan
And a Mets fan.
and a Mets fan. Can you describe?
I can feel the pain coming from his screen.
Isis, can you describe your mental health right now?
When it comes to sports, my mental health isn't good at all. I've contemplated ending it all several times. Most recently, when the Jets signed Adam Gase as their head coach, I wanted to shoot myself in the head because there was no going up from that point. As a Knicks fan, the past 10 years have just been horrible. They honey dick you once in a while by making the playoffs. And you think, things are going up, and then it's just like, oh no, you only had a 1 year wonder. Then the Mets, same thing. They make the World Series and they lose naturally, and then they're just trash for another decade. It's tough for any kind of sports fans that their teams are trash. A funny stat came out a couple days ago, maybe. The last time the Jets had a 4,000-yard passer was Joe Namath, and that was like 50-something years ago. Do you know what team has never had a 4,000-yard passer? It's the Bears.
Jay Cutler was almost there.
Had a 4,000-yard passer. He was, but he never got there.
Not quite.
It's no, it's. I mean, when the Browns have won a playoff game before the Jets have, it's really sad.
Yeah, this study is utter bullshit. Like, as a Nets fan, 90% of our games have been nail biters, and before this year, most of the time I end up being depressed. Waking up the next morning ready to hang myself. But my favorite or my least favorite moment as being a sports fan had to have been when Indianapolis lost the Super Bowl against the Saints, because I was talking all this shit. I was talking all this shit to everybody all week, all year. Best team in the league. Peyton Manning's pass picked off by Tracy Porter goes for a touchdown. I'm pretty sure I locked myself in my room for like 2 weeks and did not talk to anybody.
See, this is why I don't like you, Alan. Because your worst memory is a goddamn Super Bowl loss. You didn't have to struggle through Chip Kelly, through Sam Bradford, through whatever the Eagles are going to go through next year. Like,
imagine having your ego and your confidence built up so high just to have it come crashing down.
Yeah, you know what that's called?
I mean, that's a weekly thing for you. You get on this podcast and you look like a moron.
Oh, you think so? I feel like I win most of these debates, man. I got the biggest casuals by my side.
No.
I got Mr.
Both of you.
I got Mr. RJ Barrett's better than Karis LeVert over here.
None of you guys can even talk about being upset about your teams, especially you, Kunal. You've gotten to see a Super Bowl win in your lifetime. Same thing with Alan. No. I would take one Super Bowl win and 50 Super Bowl losses if I got to see that one Super Bowl win.
Same thing with Alan. That's why I'm not directing this to you. I'm going straight for Alan. I know you live in pain. I know. I'm just saying. I've never seen a professional championship in my life, and the one championship that I've seen was a Syracuse national championship game.
That's big.
And that was in 2003 when I was 7. And I didn't even like sports when I was 7. I didn't know what the fuck sports was when I was 7. So I've never seen a championship in my life.
Damn, do you know what that reminds me of? It's like when you're a kid and you're playing outside with your neighborhood friends, you're playing basketball, and then one day just everyone stops hanging out with each other. That's Elias's championship aspirations.
I was say, Lord knows the Jets aren't going to get there. Yep. The Mets aren't going to get there.
He had no idea this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Just one day it all came plummeting down.
He was sitting there. Chad Pennington was his quarterback. Things are on the up and up. Everything was beautiful. The Mets were still struggling. The Knicks were still ass. And then the Jets started to suck. They got a little better, made it to 2 AFC championships. The Knicks got mellow. Things were looking good.
Wait, didn't the Mets win it all recently?
No, they went to
No.
they went to
They went to the
Series.
World Series.
Oh, so you can't talk.
They,
How did that
they
feel?
went to the they didn't win.
How did that feel?
It didn't feel good. I don't
It's
know.
probably the worst feeling in the world to have your hopes and dreams built up and then just
But you
some
still
asshole
you've,
takes it away.
You've still been able to see one. You know what it feels like for your team to win the championship.
Also, though, like when I became a Nets fan, I only liked them because they were dysfunctional. So,
Yeah,
like,
welcome to the past 2 decades of the Knicks.
but like you see, like the Knicks are looking awesome right now. They're not like a great team, but they're obviously like doing way better than they are or they did in the past 20 years.
What about the Nets, Alan? How are they looking?
But the thing
How,
is, like,
how are they looking?
you get to see, I'm saying, like, you get to see the process of like a trash team build itself up and just completely fix itself. And I think that's the best feeling in sports. Like, I'd rather have that than like be like a Patriots fan and just like only know winning and that's it. And then once your team combusts like it is now, you don't know what to do with yourself. So you root for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Like, I would rather have a team that I like support and its lowest lows and highest highs no matter what, and it's almost becomes like a second family because of that, compared to like just liking a team because they're good every single year. I think liking the shittier team is much funner.
The Jets' highest high are literally 8-8.
I mean, once you get
There's
Ken
not-
Newton
there's-
under the
there's-
helm, you'll be fine.
There's not much to be excited about.
Yeah. I mean, at that point though, you shouldn't get your hopes up.
Literally, like the highest highs for the Knicks are one playoff series win. Like,
I'm telling you,
where's the enjoyment in that?
once the Knicks start winning, or the Jets, once they can get the culture fixed, they will be able to get whoever the hell they want.
Yeah,
Maybe not the
speaking
Jets, but the
speaking
Knicks
on
will.
behalf of the Knicks, this has been a 21 years. 21 years, Alan, of trying to fix the culture.
20 no. Yeah, 21. You're
Yeah,
right.
21. Like since 99.
1999. Yeah.
Trying to fix the culture. When is this going to be fixed?
I mean, to be honest, like as a Nets fan, most of my fanhood, the games that I've looked forward to in each year has been the Knicks versus Nets games, because we both have been bottom feeders.
James Dolan owes me so much money for therapy. Just for the Isaiah Thomas years.
Don't say that. He'll ban you from everything.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, by doing this podcast and shitting on Julius Randle for, like, the entirety of the offseason, I'm already banned from MSG. My views have since changed. Julius, you are an angel, an amazing human being. Nobel Peace Prize in your future.
Kuno also has to get a tattoo of Julius Randle.
Why'd you gotta put that on the pod, man? we just gotta put that on the
We've
pod.
determined it's going to be a face tattoo.
I thought we were going
Of
for the
Julius
knee.
Randle.
No, you said knee. We said face tattoo.
You know what? I feel like none of us in this Zoom call are qualified to decide this tattoo. There's only one person who can. Julius Randle, if you're listening, where would you like me to get a tattoo? And of what? If he answers, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. I'm letting y'all know now.
He's going to say like some wild ass shit. He's going to say like James Dolan on your left ass cheek.
I think you should get a dragon tattoo on your penis
Ooh.
and then get your balls genetically modified so that
It has
your
scales.
cum comes out as like
Has-
a red color,
I was
so
gonna say
that
it's
when you
flames.
come, yeah, so when you come, it looks like you're spitting fire as a dragon from your penis.
This
That's
hurts
my
worse
dream.
than the fucking Isaiah Thomas years.
Dude, imagine having a UTI with that and then going to the doctor. Be like, hey, yo, doc, I got a problem. Can you help me out? Sir, you're pissing out fire. I don't think that's healthy.
As a whole nother definition to burning discharge. All right, boys. Who would you rather have, quarterback A or quarterback B? Quarterback A has a 106-40 touchdown to interception ratio, 17,634 passing yards, a 66% completion rate. His win percentage is 60.9 and a passer rating of 97.3, right? Let's remember that's quarterback A. Quarterback B, 120-86 touchdown to interception ratio, 17,698 passing yards, 61.3% completion rate, a 52.2% win percentage, and a 85.6 QBR. Who are you taking, QBA or QBB?
I'm going B because I feel like you're definitely tricking us. And I feel like it's going to be like Chad Pennington versus like John Elway or something.
Is who do you got, A or B?
For the sake of argument, I'm going to go with A.
All right, time to reveal the names here. Quarterback A, Dak Prescott. Quarterback B, not John Elway, but it's Peyton Manning.
Damn, you really feel that way, Elias?
Sure.
Yeah, I hate like the side by side comparisons like this. Like what is it based on? Is it like the first how many games of their career?
Yeah, it's to clarify, it's the first 69 games of their career.
Ooh,
Or
good
59
numbers.
starts. Yeah, that's nice.
Nice.
Nice. First
Yeah.
59 starts. So I think that brings up the question, ultimately. Is Dak better than Peyton Manning? Why the fuck am I asking this?
I mean, it's obviously not fair because Peyton Manning had that awful rookie year. He was just blessed with the worst team known to man. And that was before the rule changes made it easier for quarterbacks to succeed in the NFL. It was not much of a pass-heavy quarterback league before him and Tom Brady really put their stamp on it. While Dak Prescott, completely different circumstances. However, I will say he probably had the most impressive rookie year that I have ever witnessed for any quarterback.
Oh, really? I guess Justin Herbert didn't play last year.
Well, Dak was winning games.
Justin Herbert broke rookie records, but
I don't think the stats are necessarily what
Continue.
makes it.
Just continue.
So
Continue.
Alan was sitting there that entire time and was like, win percentage, baby. That's what determines it.
Yeah, yeah. Win percentage, I guess. I guess Peyton's 522 win percentage is a lot better than Dak's 609. But continue. You go.
Well, I mean, again, it was a different league, and Dak's team was much better than Peyton's. But if you're comparing like Justin Herbert to Dak Prescott, the only reason I think that Dak was so impressive his rookie year was because of how collected he was, even without any good talent to throw to during the first 6 games of his entire career. He didn't even miss a beat when he didn't have Dez Bryant. That was how great he was. He was just super collected. He looked way more mature beyond his years. And that was probably his best year in the NFL thus far, in my mind.
Peyton played for the he played for the property franchise that is the Colts. Dak, he had a good offensive line. He had decent weapons. He had an elite rusher, which made things a lot easier for him. And like Alan said, Um, playing in a league where the quarterback is favored heavily helps with his numbers. I feel like his numbers are inflated. If you put Peyton Manning in his prime, or if you put the
Oh yeah.
first 69 starts of Peyton Manning in this league, I think or how about this? If you put Peyton on the Cowboys from when Dak started, I think his numbers would be a lot better than Dak's. I think it's crazy to compare two players from different eras. We've had this discussion before, so whoever posted this was an idiot.
Yeah,
And,
you're comparing apples to oranges, dude. Just
yeah,
give
he
up.
just saw numbers. Some Cowboys fan just saw numbers and said, this is accurate, and posted
People
this
are saying that
stupid-ass
Dak
shit.
Prescott's overpaid. Let me prove these guys wrong. That's exactly what that Cowboys fan is doing.
He was like saying, well, Dak's going to be the greatest quarterback of all time, but you'll see a lot of this in the near future with quarterbacks who have played X amount of games and is compared to one of the greats. I mean, you're gonna have, once Tom Brady's out of the league, you're gonna see the same shit. A quarterback 5 years from now is gonna be compared to Tom Brady. It's just gonna be stupid. I don't know why we're even talking about this, because it's
because these arguments will never stop. They're going to exist for the remaining time that we have on this earth.
And we have to take a stand, boys, against these arguments.
No blind stat comparisons. Nerds are ruining sports.
I mean, whoever posted this was probably 5 years old, so
yeah, it's true.
We're arguing with a 5-year-old, so.
But hey, shout out to them for picking 69 starts.
Yeah, good for them.
Sweet
they knew their right number.
According to @ClappedFranklin, Blake Griffin joining the Nets might be overkill. Blake, James Harden, Kyrie, and Katie all to stop some kid from Akron. Guys, are the Nets overkill? Yes or no? Easus, you go first.
So, when the news broke that Blake Griffin was going to join the Nets, every Lakers fan, or every fan that wasn't a Nets fan, was talking about how Blake Griffin has made the league unfair, how the signing of Blake Griffin was the missing piece for the Nets, and I just don't see it. The past couple of years, Blake Griffin hasn't been the same player that he's been past, 10 years or whatever. If Blake Griffin is the missing piece for your team to win the finals, you probably weren't going to win the finals anyways. I just don't think that Blake Griffin was the missing piece for the Nets. I think the Nets would probably make the finals with or without Blake Griffin. I think he just adds some depth, and just LeBron fans are insecure about the Nets already big three and now big four.
So, Hebrew Hammer, let me ask you this. What were your first thoughts on hearing about the signing?
I mean, he's probably going to start. He's probably going to average, 20 minutes per game. It's not anything huge or anything. But, to Elias's point, those same people that made Twitter explode right after, those same people were literally saying, they were laughing at the James Harden trade, saying how it wasn't going to work and how, the Lakers are still going to beat them and stuff like that. But then Blake Griffin, who's 34 years old, can't even dunk anymore. God forbid they add this guy. That's going to make them OP. Come on, guys, make up your mind.
We have a fantastic article over on the challenge-sports.com calling this team a great team out of NBA 2K13. Is this a team that you wouldn't want to see in my league back then?
Oh, yeah, but even more now. I mean, just looking at the development of James Harden, even Kyrie, KD is a much better scorer than he was back then, just because of his maturity level and his knowledge of the game. And because of their experience, you see what it's doing to pay off to the other guys on that team. Like you see Nick Claxton looking like a much more improved player beyond his years. You see Joe Harris looking awesome. You see all of these guys with the experience that's added to this team, and it's just making everyone play much better. Back then, like those guys were young guns. They didn't really understand the fluidity of the game yet. So it's pretty nice to see all of these guys.
I would beat this team with the Sacramento Kings on 2K, and it would be like 150 to 56.
Incoming 50 piece from Rashawn Holmes.
I would destroy the team in 2K. I would not be scared about this team at all.
Guys, Can't Guard Mello says, can we finally admit that Blake Griffin's dunk over the car in that one dunk contest was one of the most lamest and most overhyped things of the last 10 years?
No, so they brought out a fucking car onto the basketball court. That shit was unheard of. And he dunked over a Kia Optima, the nation's staple for being a family sedan. I mean, you can't get much better than that, let's be real.
Yeah, I don't I really don't get this one. At the time of it coming out, it was revolutionary. It was genius, and everyone's gonna say, "Well, he only jumped over the hood of the car." I want to ask those people this: let me see you dunk over the hood of a Kia Optima, and we'll see if you can make that dunk. Probably 1% of the population can make this dunk, and let's be real. The dunk contest isn't what it used to be. The dunk contest is boring. It's not fun anymore. This was probably the last great dunk we'll ever see until they change the format of the dunk contest.
All right, 3 things here. First of all, Cap. LaVine versus Gordon was easily the last best dunk contest.
That was the best prop dunk, I would say.
2, I don't even think that was the best dunk in that dunk contest. JaVale McGee dunked 3 balls into 2 hoops.
Yeah,
and that was insane to me. How that didn't win, JaVale McGee got robbed. And it was because of the fucking prop. Props through the dunk contest.
I hate how today's props, people will be dunking over 7-footers and they won't even clear them completely.
Oh, is that a shot at Obi Toppin? Sometimes people need a little boost, Alan.
Yeah, that's
my thing is when your nuts are grazing up against the back of the other guy's neck, you really didn't clear that guy.
See, I just hate it when they tilt their head down and then you try to dunk over them. That is no.
Although, being the guy that's being dunked on, that's kind of your first instinct.
That is. But at that point you got to trust your teammate, and if you suffer neck injuries, so be it. It's the dunk contest.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why the Kia Optima was great.
But
because insurance was going to cover it no matter what.
After that, though, look at the props we got. We had Paul George's glow-in-the-dark gear that should have worked but didn't.
Yep.
We had that drone dunk from Aaron Gordon. I feel like the Kia Sorrento was just too good of a prop. And it was still the second best dunk in that dunk contest. Not the lamest, but definitely didn't deserve the W.
The Kia Optima was the car of the NBA.
Yeah,
he literally dunked over the car of the NBA. It's the
sponsor money, man.
The dunk, the sponsor money. I mean, this dunk is just iconic, and if you can't see that, then, like I said earlier, you're probably 5 years old.
Because it's the car of the NBA. If you don't love that dunk, then you don't love the NBA.
Adam Silver is personally going to hunt you down.
The fact that it took 30 minutes for that car to get in place.
Yeah, it's true.
And the hype for that dunk was just it grew with every minute that we were waiting to see what he was doing. Mad people, I would say, if he dunked over the whole top of the car, it would have been the greatest dunk of all time.
Yeah, that would top anything Zach LaVine's ever done.
Yeah,
But it was
but I mean,
over
he
the
still
hood.
dunked over a car. Yeah, he still dunked over a car. Like there's still skill involved. It's the greatest thing we'll probably see in the dunk contest unless they change the format. Other than the Kobe Bryant 2K5 where he did like a front flip, a back flip, and then threw the ball in the air and still caught it and dunked it. Unless we see something like that, I mean, we'll never see something like this. Because I mean, if anybody tried to do something like this, they're just gonna be like, "Oh, you copied Blake Griffin," and they won't get a 10 out of 10 from any judge. Blake Griffin set a precedent for the dunk contest, and he should be known as a legend in the dunk contest.
Do you know what we need now?
What?
We need Zion Williamson next year to dunk over a Ford Raptor truck.
First of all, yes. Give me
Yep.
all of that.
I think Zion needs to dunk over a Bronco. Bring two iconic sports moments into one, and he will be the greatest dunker and player of all time.
With
I've-
OJ in the car.
Yeah,
OJ's
with
throwing
OJ
the
in the car.
alley-oop.
No,
OJ's throwing the alley-oop.
OJ's in the back, and whoever was driving the car at the time is in the front.
Love it. And then after the dunk, you would have OJ leave the car with a 9 sign, and he would yell out, "I didn't do it." So then you get a shot at Dwayne Wade at the same time with the reference. That's just brilliance.
Zion, if you're listening, this is what you need. This is the formula. Listen to us. We've all won NBA Live dunk contests. Maybe not Allen, but I know me and Isis have.
You should see me on a Little Tigers basketball hoop. I'm undefeated.
You're like the Arab guy that's playing in his hotel lobby.
Yeah.
Yo, that man can hoop.
Oh, he is so skilled.
I have a little brother, and he would play me in Little Tigers basketball, and I've never lost.
Undefeated, never lost.
Undefeated. He made a rule where I couldn't dunk on the hoop just because that's how dominant I was.
You
I
were
still
Shaquille
beat him
O'Neal.
with shooting. Yeah, I was Shaquille O'Neal, hitting every dunk I could, and then he was like, "You can't dunk anymore." I said, "Bet I'm gonna turn into Steph Curry," and I was just draining shit.
Minute ball over here.
Isis is just the greatest baller of our generation, guys. Like, let's admit this.
It's a shame I wasn't 6'3". It really is.
Word to IT.
Before we get into this next tweet, we have some breaking news from Isis.
I'm not wearing any pants on this podcast.
We have no dress code here, folks. But let's jump into this next tweet. Are you putting on pants?
No, I was gonna show you my peen.
Oh, well, we don't want that. That's a whole nother scandal. HR would fire us. But this one's coming from one of the deputy editors over at The Challenge, our boy A. Scott. You can catch him on Cali to Cuse every Friday. He tweets out, Ross for President 2024. And a certain person on this podcast, Hebrew Hammer, responds with, "This is what we deserve." Isis, let's talk about this. Just me and you, real quick. Do you think Alan Ross is the person we deserve in the White House?
No, I would rather have another 8 years of Donald Trump as president than Alan Ross. Let's just go into the simple fact that he is not a smart individual.
Who?
If Alan Ross was, yeah, I'm sorry. Alan Ross is a idiot. I'm just gonna be frank. He would plummet the economy. We would go into World War III. Kim Jong-un would look at his Twitter and say, "Damn, this guy knows nothing about sports." Alan Ross as the president would be like, let's see, it'd be like Mr. Bean being the president of the UK. It would just be a disaster. Nobody would respect him. Nobody would listen to him. He might say everybody needs to wear 4 masks, and everybody would wear 0. The guy is just incompetent in every way, shape, and form, and he could never lead this nation to greatness.
All right, because we gave you a platform, I feel like we need to give Alan a platform here. Alan, as the official moderator of this, you have 30 seconds. Let's go.
All right, so as a young professional like myself, I
You're
will not
wrong.
let.
You're
I will-
wrong.
Am I gonna be able to speak?
Alan,
Nice
please continue.
moderating, bro.
Hey, I'm just doing as good of a job as CNN does.
So I will not let anyone, tear me down, violate my name like Elias McCloof does.
Alan, that's all the time we have for
Let
now.
me- can I-
Isis,
no,
can
no,
you-
no, no, no,
Thank
no,
you.
no,
It's time
no.
for
Can
you
I
to
at
get
least
No.
can I at least say what I would offer this country?
Your 30
No.
seconds are up, bro. I don't make the rules.
No.
All right,
You're,
so
you're
too
no,
passive, bro.
no.
All right, just hear me out, Elias, and you can tell me if you agree with these or not. So I think it's going to, I think it would be beneficial to the country if it was mandatory to have a bidet in every toilet in the United States.
Wrong.
Oh, you don't like a clean asshole.
No.
You
You're
look
just
like a guy that
kidding.
likes crimplets.
Nope. You're wrong.
Along with
Those
that, I would change the national anthem to Black Skinhead. I think that would go hard.
I mean, I'm partial to new slaves myself.
New slaves? Yeah, that's fair. Maybe
Yeah,
we can
like-
have a rotational period.
Oh, instead of a national anthem, a national playlist.
I'm surprised he didn't say Fireflies.
Oh no, that's way no.
By
That's,
Owl City, or
Yeah, I will say. I mean, that song goes hard, but maybe it's up for discussion. We'll have a vote. We'll make it fair.
See, if he was a real president, he would have decisive decisions, and he would say one way or another. Me bringing up one
you
little
a communist?
song. I'm not a communist. I'm just saying.
That's
So-
what Kim Jong Un would do.
I
He would
you
want
I already
fireflies.
have you. Listen. I already have you questioning your decisions,
I'm not.
and that's not a good leader.
I'm not. There's just a
Hey,
lot of
you
options.
are. You're like no.
So
Who
he's
am
just-
I?
You are- no.
Who am I? Like, let's be real. Like,
You would
this
be the
country was made
president.
off of many different people, not just one person.
Isis, let
Not
me
a
flip the question
communist.
back to you though. If you had to replace the national anthem with one
Call Me
song,
Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen or 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. Those would be the 2 songs on the ballot, and the country could pick.
What about payphone?
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. I
There's,
told you,
there's
it's harder
three,
than it looks.
there's 3 songs. There's 3 songs on the ballot, and you all can pick.
ladies and gentlemen.
Alan
Oh,
I got
continue,
you there.
please.
I got you there.
Alan Ross would be a horrible president.
Oh no.
And he can talk.
That'd be
He can
great.
talk all the shit. He can talk all the bullshit that he wants. He will never convince me that he should be running for president in 2024. Let's be honest.
All right.
Howie
What if I told you
Hawkins-
one
No,
more
no, no,
rule?
no, no, no.
One more rule.
Let me plug Howie Hawkins for president in 2024. That man is the greatest political mind.
Unfortunately, that is all the time you have.
No. Howie Hawkins, 2024,
Alan, it is
greatest
time for your response.
All right. I have one more thing to say.
Howie Hawkins, 2024, greatest political mind we've ever seen. Alan, you have
But
a floor.
I'm about to drop a bomb that he would never be able to think about. So in 2024, as president of the United States, what I would do to fix this country is I would ban all white women.
That's big.
No more white women. Word to Antonio Brown.
Can I make a counter argument?
How can
Sure.
you counter that?
I will give every American $2,000 per month. That's it.
I can't do that, but I can guarantee a bidet.
I can guarantee $2,000 per month and legalization of prostitution for everyone except for white women.
Everyone except for white women.
Yeah.
So they can't profit. I love it. Okay,
Ladies and
Yep.
gentlemen, you have heard it here, folks. The platforms of two candidates, I guess.
Well,
Neither
one.
one's
I
gonna
don't
be
e- I don't even-
35.
I don't even want to run for president. I just don't want Alan to win. That's
There,
literally what I will do is I will win, make sure that we have a smart individual like Howie Hawkins as my vice president. I will step down, and our country will prosper for 50 years.
As president of the United States, I will only allow the best and most extreme sports takes to be legalized, along with banning white women and giving every single person at least 3 bidets in their household,
at least 3.
even if they have 2 bathrooms.
What if they have 1?
We'll have to work out the logistics, but we'll see.
Ladies and
I will
gentlemen,
also cancel student debt, plus
No one
another
cares about that.
$1,000.
No one
Nope,
cares
plus
about
another $1,000 per month, so you're up to $3,000. I will go as high as 3.5, but if Alan doesn't have anything good to come up with, then we're gonna stick with
wait,
3.
wait. Alan, who's your vice president nominee? Think carefully.
that. Mr. Bean.
You heard it here, folks. 2 candidates, I guess. The race for 2024 is heating up here at the challenge-sports.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Casuals on the Challenge Sports Podcast.
Oh, I didn't even know we were still recording. Shit.
And on behalf of Elias and I would like to apologize for Kunal's insubordinates tonight.
I hate this, but catch us every Friday on wherever you get your podcasts. Catch y'all next week.